I did not search and find my paperwork yet. I will hopefully find it in a bit. This is where I am now. And I'm gonna get some video footage as I drive by the park as we enter into the castle. And I do not know how to pronounce it. So until I find my paper. Here's a sign. How do you say that? Is it Squires Castle? And up there it is. You see it? I'm going to take you to the first place that I parked, and then I'm going to talk a little bit, and hopefully I won't be here too long. One of the reasons that I really wanted to come back here a second time was, yes, because I had a problem by the time I left. To be quite honest with you, I am a person that tries to be extremely respectful of people, but at some point you have to respect yourself more than another person. I would have loved to bitch slap the cop that told me what he told me when I was up here. Here's where I was sitting in the parking lot. Okay. If he shows up today, I'll just ask him if he wants to chase me off of the property again. That's very impressive, isn't it? Right here, you see this sign? Find your path. I don't know if they really mean what they say when they post that, but when a person finds their path, they get their fucking ass kicked if it's the right path. Okay? If it's the right path and it's in alignment with the Word of God, you will find out that most worldly people who say God is not real will treat you like shit. Especially cops. I saw this landscape online, and I really wanted to do my cold winter storm video here, but I realized that though this is like a public park, which means it's for you and it's for me and it's for people to come and enjoy the grass, the trees, the sky, the view. The truth is, when you come here, it is conduct yourself in a behavior that is approved by the officer that evidently does his rounds at this place, or the government that governs this jurisdiction, okay? If it's in their snooty fucking goddamn approval, well then, you're okay. But if you're somebody who's actually doing something with the property that increases the value of the place, they say you're devaluing it. What do you think of that? Oh, hold on a minute. Find your path. I would hope that my path is out of fucking Ohio. We're gonna go up here, and while we are driving up the road, I would hope so anyway. Do you know that I wrote Dayton, Ohio, USA? If you're familiar with my songs, in hopes of getting the hell out of Ohio a safe manner and things panning out in my life. I never liked Ohio. I like landscape. I don't like always living in a tiny little hole somewhere and having limitations as far as to what I can get my hands on or what I can do or the view, the atmosphere. I realize when I drive around here, it's amazing to me because I covered a lot of the state of Ohio on its interstate, but I'd never really got away from Dayton, Ohio and into an area that is more my personality. And I get to actually enjoy the back roads and drive and see the views and have a good time. I forget what it's like to be a fucking human being, to be honest with you. I don't like living the way that Americans have forced through their fucked up idea of life upon other people how to live. It is lifeless, okay? Lifeless, people. Your way of thought of life sucks. I really liked when I first came here, I liked the view. So that's what I'm thinking when I first pulled up there. And I like the rocks that are alongside. I know down there in Dayton, Ohio, it seems like they open up the parks whenever they get around to it. It's never like exactly on time. You know, at least at a few spots. I didn't know how this would be. Originally online, I thought it would be a really cool place to do my cold winter storm video. Well, obviously by the time I left here and doing my Krazy life video, I realized with the cop being an asshole that he was, most likely he wouldn't like my car sitting right down there. And he wouldn't like seeing me walking around up there in the snow. The problem is with places like this, not being mature. The people that govern places like this, you're not being mature. Your view, my view, totally different. I can understand why God lets us know that a whole nother psychological approach to this place is in order. Because if you are within a disorder of masses of human beings, you are going to suffer greatly. Lifeless. When a society is lifeless, you suffer no matter what anybody else would say. You're a free stallion, you're wild, just like the fucking zoos that fucking cage up animals and stuff and drug them up and put them on their diet that they think that they should eat. That lion, if he were to be friendly and sit down and talk to you, he would tell you that he is missing out on real quality life. To the lion. Ask the zoo people that, and they say, well, those lions wouldn't stand a chance. Is that it? I better get them moving. This place is gonna be pretty busy. But anyway, this is one of the songs, if not the main song, I recorded a video for up here. And I really like the video, and I really like the place, and I would have to say that I really like the landscape, but I didn't like the disagreement with the cop that was up here, so that's what I came up here to talk about today. This is one of my last videos that I'm going to be doing before making my phone calls, including the police station in Cleveland, to pretty much just simply say, you're an asshole, because I've come to a conclusion that the reality is you can't talk to humans that already have everything all figured out. And what ended up happening to me is not having a support within the Christian community that is more holy, more godly, if you would, more psychologically in alignment with the Bible and understanding what we're entitled to as believers. And don't say no different than anyone else. You're full of fucking goddamn shit. The Bible clearly states that we're entitled to a whole other way of life that nobody is fucking guiding us into. But the Word of God lets us know, and it'll drive somebody who gets it nuts. Because I should be able to come here myself and close down the fucking park and say I'm making use of it for a fucking day. Okay? I'm making use of it for a day, officer. It's God's property, you fucking piece of shit. Here I go screaming again. You see that? Do you know why? Because that officer psychologically abused me. And now I suffer whenever I see a police car because I'm almost nervous that he's gonna tell me I can't live, I can't breathe, I can't have a heartbeat. Everything I do is illegal. I don't know how to be legal. How do you do that? Here we go. We're gonna go up here and check it out. I'm back again, and I'll be calling the police station in the near future. So here we go. I'm gonna go up to the castle and I'm gonna try to stay calm. Obviously when there's other people around, it can be quite irritating. I miss the mountain a lot where I used to go to be able to be alone with me and my dog and get away from people. The one thing that I have learned, if you don't have common interest with anybody, you don't want them in your life. What is the reasoning for us being crossing paths? You don't want just anybody in your life. And you don't really realize it until everything spirals out of control, how serious that is. On your high times, whoever you are, stay close to the people you have common interest with. Don't let those son of a bitches like Joyce Myers and Joel Osteen freak your mind out to fucking goddamn trickle down and lose everything. Because that's exactly what happens. And if people would get it right, you'd have documentation that says, cop, leave me the fuck alone unless it's a serious circumstance. Then we'll have other judges that'll be present, that know the Bible. They're familiar with it, every fucking word, because I can outspeak any one of you bastards. We have to stay calm Because if we don't, I don't want to show the castle so much. I think it was beautiful. I think the landscape is beautiful. I came here first thing in the morning because I understand that people like to come and make use of the park. See? And I didn't want to step on no one's toes. It's amazing that when you surrender to the truth, that God will let you know, if you're true with where you are, you would love to be a big part of like a youthful children's rock and roll ministry. But going through all the shit that you go through, you will realize you'd rather have a Tracilyn Michael ministry. Meaning you take care of yourself. Personally, do you know what I've learned? I don't care if one person comes to Jesus Christ. If I can't take care of myself, I don't give a fuck if all these people burn in hell. In fact, I'll laugh. Not these people here, but people in the world. I would laugh in your face if you all fucking burned in hell. Because you didn't fucking love me. Why ain't I back in Pennsylvania in my own home? Okay, at the end of the day, this fucking ministerial shit is bullshit. Why should I fucking fly fucking 8,000 miles after I raise money to go help fucking a bunch of black people that wouldn't fucking help me in my time of need? Where's the black people helping me at? Where are they? Where did they go? Are they gonna help Tracilyn get back to Pennsylvania, the black community? Because they were trying to trick my mind to raise money to go help them. 8,000 miles is a lot to ask somebody who's in Lebanon, Pennsylvania and dirt-ass poor. I would send a message to Africa, raise money for yourselves. God, be aware of God. According to God, we don't need money, do we, to serve God? In fact, God says we can't serve both money and God. So what do we do about this? In a world, we gotta pay for everything. And as soon as somebody starts to do something nice, that is different and set apart from everybody else, shows a little bit of the wild stallion. What if a wild stallion came over here? What would that officer do? If he saw a horse, a big, beautiful white horse, come out here on the lawn and start lifting its front legs up because it was really happy, okay, to be free, would he mistaken thinking it's a wild one and it's untamed and it's going to attack him and he'd just shoot it down? Probably, because why? Because he walks around with a fucking gun and a badge because he's a fucking coward. That's exactly why. We already know the types that walk around with badges and guns. You got it? Look, there is a whole bunch of mulch that was just placed here. It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's gorgeous, isn't it? I'm kind of believing that most likely my video that I posted online of the castle, most likely was blocked because I realized that Ohio governance is a bunch of assholes. That's why. I use social networks so that I could connect with people for different reasons, not so I could continue to live like Trump Jr. and try to connect with business folk. I'm not interested. I think business folk are assholes. I think the Trump family is a bunch of assholes. I would be happy to say that in this castle it looks really nice, doesn't it? It's amazing because if you realize, when I was recording the video, I was outside at first at the break of sunrise. Because I realized that if I probably came here while it was still dark out, a cop would probably show up. Because evidently it's illegal to be a human being and want to show up somewhere early before the park is opened. Most likely, that probably would have happened. Don't tell me you're jumping to conclusions. I am aware. And I have been more aware as I've been working on my music project that I had whole other intentions, and it ended up being you do it all by your fucking self with fucking little bit of money, and then I can't rent properties or do whatever it is that other fucking people do, Joyce Myers. I can't do it because I'm not willing to sign with a corporation who's gonna use the shit out of me. Because I don't like corporations at all. I don't like them. In my opinion, I would see them rolled up in a ball and I would kick them to another country called China. Get out of here. It's not authentic life. When did you ever have a balance of working and a beautiful life on top of it? They'll tell you that you should make the two come together. Bullshit, doesn't work that way. That never worked, not one time in my life. There's a whole lot of truths that you would have to learn first. And even then, you say, I need to take off, I need to go, you need to take off, you need to go. That doesn't happen when you work for a corporation. They say you take off, you're fired. Okay? Why doesn't God make another way on this planet? Maybe an escalator up to heaven so we can get the hell out of here? I don't want to share the castle too much. You can look online. I remember I came out here and I went inside there And I started to notice that as the morning was coming on, that more people were starting to come up. So I was trying to move things along because my goal was to hurry up and do it, get out of here. Because I understand what the officer might not have thought I understood. And I didn't want to step on nobody's toes. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And then I could get going. I try to keep people off the camera as much as possible. So I came back here, and I think it's absolutely wonderful, except for the occurrence, but I'm back. I wasn't going to come back. The one thing I didn't like is when the officer told me what he told me, it kind of changes everything. This beautiful property all of a sudden becomes devalued instantly. There's a cop walking across the lawn, driving on up here, if you will. I would say it devalues it instantly. It says, here we go again. I'm in the wrong, but he's in the right. Okay, especially if I kick him in the balls, then what's gonna happen to me? Welcome to Cleveland, is it? Cleveland fucking rocks. Hold on a minute, let me go up there, uptown, and do what Drew Carey does. For commercial television, see, that's corporate. But now if I do it, a cop will be there citing me and saying I'm out of alignment, it's scaring the frickin' children and shit. Go do something that's on TV at the exact same spot that it was captured by a corporation, and see how fast a cop doesn't show up and say you can't do that here. Should I sue the company? Who's the big company out there? Should I sue them because I can't do it, just because I want to do it and have fun and capture it on camera? Is that it? I really like these too. Look at them. Isn't that a nice view? It'd be even nicer if I freaking knew somebody that actually had a property like this, and it was not a public for use park. With many humans running around it, so to speak. I like these windows and stuff, so I had a lot of fun doing this video. This was another one of the rooms that I was in, and I saw the fireplace and everything, and I thought this was really, really, really nice. The ceiling. Oh, this was the last place that I was when the cop finally came up. I went through that whole castle, almost every room in the front. This here was one of my favorite spots. I'm gonna get it now on camera. I thought if I were to be putting on a show when I was here in the castle, this would have been my favorite spot. It's kind of like a little state. This is where I was. The cop came up. Was he driving in his car? I'm not quoting him, but he lets me know that my music is too loud. Because what I do is I have a cube amp that I got at Guitar Center. And I'll take my MP3 player, and then I'll take the jack and I'll plug it in to the quarter jack, and I'll turn it up in a manner that I can actually hear it. And I don't want it directly in the video that I'm shooting the majority of the time. If it happens, it happens. I'll try to set it somewhere. I don't remember where it was here. It might have been here. On the ground. It may have been over here. But then I'll set my camera out there a little bit. The music has to be loud enough, or I might set the actual music thing close to the camera, and then I'll aim the speaker towards me. I have to turn it up loud enough that I can actually hear it, because it's kind of like you're lip syncing and you gotta play guitar too. Okay, I want to, so I'm playing guitar and I'm singing. And do you know that you might not think that there's that much involved, especially doing it by yourself, but you'd be surprised. More so or not, I'm kind of tiptoeing around other people. I don't feel safe a majority of the time. I have to do a 360 everywhere I go. Always be aware, up and down. Am I gonna trip over something, not trip over something? I don't know how when somebody's walking towards me, if they're gonna be friendly. Most of the time, I would assume they are. You put the speaker back with the camera and the tripod. You turn it up loud enough that you can hear it. Obviously, we're in the country, you're in a castle, it echoes. I came here early because I figured nobody would be here, most likely only a few people. And I'm very respectful when I see other people. All they have to do is walk up and talk to me. Just like these people here, they wanted to see more of the castle, and they said, "Oh, you're videotaping?" I said, "No, I'll turn it off while you are looking at the castle." Or whatever I said. I have no problem doing that. I don't really like, especially when I'm doing this kind of blog anyway, I don't really like capturing other people because I'm screaming and saying how I feel about a lot of things. This is not a friendly kind of vlog. I was not expecting to be harassed as I go through life. Can I ask you something, cop, that told me, I don't know, did he tell me I have to get off the property? Did he tell me I have to turn off the music? Because it's disturbing other people. Where I come from, we had public parks where many people had muscle cars. They turned on their car stereos. You heard it the whole way around the park. You heard people at the swimming pool listening to music, screaming and having a good time, laughing, playing football, frisbee, revving up their cars, hopping them around and stuff. I guess there's somebody, I don't want to say where it was, but there's a couple from like Facebook or something in there. Evidently, I don't know the whole story, but they're kind of like finding a rock and re-hiding the rock within the castle. So I guess it's something where people place things and then they let people know about, I guess, a geographical area or the building structure or something where something has been hidden, and then other people can come and find it and then they can re-hide it or something like that. I don't do stuff like that at this time, but it seems like it would probably be fun. So then check this out. Now, obviously, I realize, especially like today, how busy this place is, and I understand how popular this place is. How busy or how popular a property is irrelevant to life forms. Somebody who wants to enjoy their life sees something that is available for general consumption, for usage, if you would. I don't know what all the rules are. I think the governor himself should fucking send me a rule book with everything I'm allowed to do and not do. I think you should just narrow it down to what I'm allowed to do. Where am I allowed to go? When I went up in the mountains, I just went up in the mountains. I just picked a trail. I just walked on the road or whatever they had up there and sat by the iron bridges, or I went up there and I sat on the hood of my car. There were times that I had with cops. Not every single fucking time I do something. Over in Ohio, ever since I came out here, I realized that the mentality is a lot different than what I remembered a mentality of growing up. Being from Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, going to places like New York and New Jersey. Come on, mentality. Philadelphia, New York, Delaware, Ocean City, Maryland. And I come out to Ohio and the mentality is different. To me, I recognize that right away. In fact, something even was said into my head that I talked about before, and I don't want to keep talking about it. When I set up my music, I turn it up at a comfortable level. I can hear that kid probably as loud, and they're pretty great distance from me. I can hear that kid screaming. My music's up here. I have it. It's at a nice level. It's at a nice EQ, meaning it's not hurting the ears. I'm only here for a couple hours. I'm gone. I was getting fatigued, kind of tired, and that there was the last spot in that door entrance. That was the last spot that I was here at the castle when a cop pulled up in a car, and he left me know that my music was a disturbance, that he could hear it evidently down at the edge of this driveway. I'm almost positive that's what he said. I'm not quoting. None of this is a quote. I'm trying to describe the circumstance while I'm looking around 360, okay? Because I never expected all my focus to always be on a television screen or a camera. I wanted to live in a genuine life. This is not what I thought would be. I wrote songs. I reached out to people in the music and entertainment industry for years. And it never got any better than, Tracilyn, you're doing everything yourself. And I'm getting sick of doing it. I understand what could be done if details were put together. Why would I want to do that? Why don't somebody there in the corporations make another way for people that they can have a quality life and do things gracefully? Some people don't want to be a slave. Are we working on the railroad bed again? Huh? Someday I'm going to have that home. Are we working in the cotton field? Should I have a video of myself picking cotton? Maybe someday I'll have a real home. Maybe someday we'll have a real life. Maybe. So can I tell you that when you're in an adrenaline rush, you're trying to do this in a timely manner. And it was gorgeous out that day. And I remember thinking the sun was perfect. The scenery was beautiful. I went through a lot to get myself dressed, to lug my equipment, to drive it up here, to try to get here before anybody else would get here. Crack of dawn. I drug all my stuff from where my car is, way down there on the other side of the kids, all the way up this hill to the castle. I would set my camera, my radio, my cube amp, my amplifier, and then I have to bend down with my guitar on. I have to bend down as it's smacking into everything, and I'm trying to hold it still to hit play. And then I gotta run all the way back to where I was, and then I gotta conduct myself in a manner that says, that's a nice capture. And then I gotta go back and I gotta get everything, and then I lug it around, and I continue to keep doing that. Now, am I complaining? The answer is no, I'm not. But especially when I was an escort and I was reaching out and trying to connect with other people in entertainment when I was doing the entertainment, like photographers and stuff, it was part of the psychological hurting process. Because there was lots of people that would be interested in me until they found out I was a transsexual. And with that being said, I'm not looking for a pity story. I'm stating the truth that a beautiful person as I became can start to lose my cool and go to grab a machine gun and start taking it out on the United States government because I should have just had my God-given right and then I could pay people I need to pay and get this the hell over with. This is how ridiculous it is. Innocent, one human being wants to live a balanced life. Okay with a whole lot less. I just want to have fun and enjoy myself. There's many times, like when I was living at Huber Heights, and I realized how smart-ass a teenage kid could be to me, that I realized I can't believe I wanted to donate my time to another human being, period. I don't know if a human being is capable of loving me at all. And it's not because of being transgendered. It's not because of any other reason. It's literally because that's the truth. Is God in any human being outside of me? Or did God consume and fill me up and let everybody else sit to perish? So anyway, I'm gonna start heading down. I just wanna show it one more time. That's where I started. And I went into the castle at a different place. I think I'm gonna go in one more time. There's a window I wanna look out yet. But I went in all the rooms, all the way up to right where they are with the dog right now. So I made my rounds the best I could. I really love the video. I think it turned out really good. I love the castle. I see something like this, as people would say, as an artist, as an Ohio citizen, as a United States citizen, as a child of God. I come here and I respect the property to the better of my ability. Sound is not a disrespect. By the way, it's not every day. It's not an 8-hour day. It's not a 12-hour day. It's not like the last, since 2014 to current years that I've been living in a fucking dump the government calls low-income housing. Day in, day out, living in the same goddamn dump. Okay? You think that's fun for me? Why don't I have an officer chase the governor out of the state of Ohio and tell him he's a nuisance for putting a mask on everybody's face, okay? Maybe I should go rent an officer uniform and show up at the governor's house and chase him the fuck out of the state. Because it's disrespectful to life. People want to breathe a little bit. Hopefully someday God will show the politicians who made that happen and forced it in this state, because I live here in this state. I hope God will show them, even with your mask on, you'll break out just like some of the people in the Holy Scripture did. See, they'll get you. Those people up there are aliens, life forms. I used to say to God sometimes, once I started to realize this, there's a whole other power structure. Why God wouldn't put me in a position where a coward cannot really be a man, period, let alone a man of God. When that happened, that cop is talking to somebody who has a huge history with cops, psychological abuse, bipolar been diagnosed, personality disorder diagnosed, major depression diagnosed. I have every symptom that is on the Social Security list of disabilities just about. Do you know why? Because that list is fucking goddamn bogus. because all of it is enforced upon people through technology, oppressive technology, that plays with people's thoughts and gives them an illusion of a lot of things. It's real through them, but it's not really what the terms are said to be. These are terms with descriptions of what people have come to a conclusion as being diagnosed as something to bring them into some kind of understanding, but it's still the same group of something that is up there in the sky that is using technology to destroy human lives and their potential. Very frustrating. I do plan on trying to do things as peaceful and loving as I can, but I don't plan on hesitating when I call the police officer's jurisdiction here and asking if I could speak to the police officer on the phone while I record it. I'm not going to tell him that, I'm just going to do it. And I'm pretty much going to let him know that I think he's a fucking asshole. You see, when I'm not working my ass off and driving over 3 hours one way to come to a property that I feel I have entitlement to, okay, to use it. I'm not going to be here all day. I'm not going to camp out here for the weekend. I'm going to make use of it to do a video. And by the way, when I'm through with it, officer, the value of the property just increased dramatically, which is something most people in your law enforcement staff are unable to do to a property, because you usually devalue it by walking on and telling people what they shouldn't do. And not one other citizen complained to me. No one said, hey, would you turn that down? There was nobody picnicking here. There was nobody laying out. If I came here and I laid out in my bikini, what would you do? Would you run me off? Would you say that's inappropriate? What the hell is wrong with you people? You see this turn? Do you know how many muscle cars could line up there? I used to go to a park like that, and many muscle cars would line up around a turn like that. And people would be listening to their music and closing the doors, some people slamming them or whatever, people sitting on the hood. They'd be having a good time, okay? And in my opinion, this was some kind of norm because this was a regular occurrence. Occasionally cops would come through. Most cops were pretty pleasant back then. Sometimes they would chase people off depending on the circumstance. That cop claims that he could hear me that distance because we're in a mountaintop or a mountain country, trees. I would not doubt that you could hear it maybe a little bit, but I think that's a little far-fetched. I think what it is you saw a female that stands 6'2" in a short skirt with her smooth legs sticking out, and you saw a guitar strapped around her, and therefore you became curious. A tall blonde, and now you come up through, and as you get closer, you start to hear the music. That's what I think. And I think then you get out and you start flexing your badge in a manner that says, I can enjoy my life doing something I want to do during the time that the park is opened. That's what I think really happened. I don't think you heard my music all the way down there. And maybe from now on, if a cop would ever say that to me specifically in this state, you should have to fucking prove it. Okay, you got cameras. Did you capture it in audio? Okay, those people's voices I hear echoing through the trees is no louder than what my music was when I was up here. And by the way, my music is really, really good. Say that. It's very good. And if people really knew who I was, instead of being irritated, they'd ask me for an autograph or a picture. That's me maybe being a smartass, do you think? It's good to be here. I personally was not going to come back here after that. I've been wanting to because I did want to share the video. I personally get sick of people who are bullying me around. How long do you think I'll be here if they keep doing this stuff? You think I might be around for 100 years? God told me long life quite a while ago, back in the 70s or 80s, and I'm kind of thinking, is it going to be a long, painful life, God? Is it every time I want to do something, there's going to be a law enforcement personnel here telling me I can't do it? That I'm a disturbance to other people. Maybe what's disturbing to the people is their discontentment with not making things right with God. This seems more like sense, law officer, considering in Christ there are no laws. Laws don't apply. Sounds wild, doesn't it? Because nobody ever fucking told you that, right? I did. Now, do you want to come up here and arrest me and let's get in and let's get the court case on as I sue you? And I want your personal finances because of it, not the state's. Because that's what needs to happen. People need to go after the people instead of after the people's money. Go after the people who are enforcing laws. Just because a law came your way or because a curiosity came your way doesn't mean that you should go around and use your position to tread on somebody else's beautiful life. You don't know what that person went through, and if that doesn't give you compassion, look in the mirror and ask God. And God will let you know that you are a great distance when you're telling somebody what to do with their beautiful life. God would tell you to pull the old plank out of yours before you try to knock a speck of dust off the eye of somebody else. I like that. Cleveland Metro Park. And to be quite honest with you, he doesn't look like a very happy person either, does he? He'd probably be just as pissed off that I was here. And the sad part is I could do more with that one song than he could do with this castle. For humanity worldwide and beyond. That includes all life forms. Ta-da! It's gorgeous, isn't it? The view. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go. It's really weird because when I'm here, I really love the castle. I think it's gorgeous. I think the scenery is gorgeous. I think if I lived in the area and I had availability, I would probably come up here and walk the trails and stuff too. To be honest with you, I have to come to the realization because of the fact that almost every time that I would go to do something that I would do, since coming out here to Ohio, especially in the outdoors, I get kind of chased off. I look at a governancy property and I pretty much want to vomit. It causes a sickness inside of my head, which then gives me the sensation of I should pull over and throw up. And I'm sure there's a lawsuit there somewhere to the entire United States government and the corporations. Like China. I'm sick of everything I touch being made from China. Hey China, hey you fat fucking son of a bitch, why don't you hire me to do something so I can get a paycheck too? Do you know how sick it is for me to go around and see all this stuff made in China and I'm unemployed? And I can't get work? If I ran this country, your ships would turn the fuck around and stay the hell off of our soil. Do you know that? Because the Bible would let me know that if man were serving God, there would be no need for anybody from another country to provide for the rest of the world. You're not God, Chinese. I like this one as probably one of my favorite. Right here. I really like this room here. I think it's the front room when you walk through the front door on the right-hand side. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful place. For anybody who does see this video, I would definitely recommend coming here, having the opportunity to see it. I don't know the whole history on it. I think it would be even cooler if a recording artist would come up here and do a music video. A recording artist that has balls. If the cop happens to come, tell the cop to go fuck himself and continue on. I think that would be cool, and that should be on TV. I don't get it. There's people that come. When people come through, I always turn off my camera. I'll wait. I'll be kind. I know to step back. See, I've learned these things. Let people talk. If they talk to me, I'll talk back. I understand they want their time with their family or their friends or whoever they're with. I don't want to intrude. But at what point is them intruding on me no more to happen? Okay, the Bible says that this is my planet too. Do you know that? This planet belongs to me as much as it belongs to God. But the United States government doesn't act like that, and neither do the fucking police officers. The food at the grocery stores belongs to anybody who believes in Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior. Who's gonna have enough balls, like the people who went from the back of the bus to the front of the bus or drank out of the water fountain? Who's gonna be the first one to walk in a grocery store and walk out with food? And when the security guard comes and tries to touch them, they say, "You get your fucking hands off of me, bastard." That's my food. Corporations don't have a superior position over a human life. If somebody's hungry, then they should make a way. Do you understand? And not just with their spoiled leftover food. Here, you can have the spoiled stuff, is that it? Let them know that God takes a person who's eaten the spoiled food and brings them to the place of royalty in castles with real kings and queens that are still alive today. It might not be me, but I'm sure it's brought somebody there. So he heard me all the way down there where that car is. Let's listen to the next car that comes here. Did you hear that? Now, why isn't that cop running after that car and telling him to turn his car off? I heard it. I heard it all the way up here at the castle. Do you understand? He heard my music. I have to turn it off. I hear how many cars drive by since I've been here. I hear the ice cream man's truck down here. Why don't he turn it off? Can I tell you something? That ice cream truck is worse for the children and the people who are eating from it than my music playing at the volume that I was playing it, and the words that were in it. My words were very pure in that song, which means the nutrients to the words of that song were extremely beneficial for life in some manner, especially when used for a testimony. The ingredients is in that snow cone or that ice cream machine that's down there. Do we want to get into why the cop isn't doing a back trail and finding out how the cows and the other animals, if he's serving food and stuff, were abused so that these people could prostitute the food they made? There's prostitution going on in this parking lot. Why don't the cop arrest the man and arrest everybody who's involved in it? Someday, somewhere, I'm going to find out. You'll see. It's gorgeous. Okay, I'm out of here. It's a beautiful place, despite the irritation that happened. My question is, does the person driving that ice cream truck have a permit to be on what is perceived to me as some kind of state jurisdiction of a metro park of some sort? Because one of the things that people would ask me, like a cop, is do you have a permit to do that? What do I need a permit for? I'm not selling anything. I'm trying to enjoy my life. And to be quite honest, when the music's turned off and the camera's turned off and somebody's talking to me reasonably with as much education as I have in the Word of God and psychology, I'm a hell of a lot more valuable and beneficial for life than that ice cream truck. And I could prove in any courtroom in the world and beyond, before God, why that ice cream truck indeed should be shut down. Now, why isn't that officer over here chasing him off the lawn, chasing him off the parking lot? Doesn't he have enough balls? Does he not have it right with God in his head? These are things that I'm curious about. Joyce Myers, you were going to tell me someday, Tracilyn, you are number one. In the human race today, you are number one. You don't go through life helping people. You serve God in your brain. And in your brain, you're going to say, I need a fucking bank account because I don't know another way of life. That person would disrespect me if I said I want a vanilla cone, most likely. I don't know who they are. Most likely they would say, oh, you gotta buy these cones. But hold on, I'm a child of God. We're all children of God, are we? And we're all doing life bizarre, aren't we? Very unique. You'd say don't do things for the money, and then people who don't do things for the money get screwed. You don't go through life just doing things for God. In this situation here, in my opinion, for each time that I've gotten harassed and told by an officer that I can't do something when it's innocently being done, way more innocent than that, the truth of the matter is, I should have an apology. I'm not gonna get it, but I should. I'm sure this happened here for a reason, and I would have to say that I was very grateful I got my video. I can imagine that the state of Ohio and the people who are supervising me most likely blocked my video. And they didn't do it because of the castle. The castle's just as much mine as it is God's. It's more, maybe. I don't know if that person was an atheist that built this. I don't know where his heart was. So it might not even be the person who started to build this castle. The truth of the matter is, I made a video. It turned out really awesome. I'm very grateful for the most part. I went to many different locations. In my opinion, I never realized this before, but it sucks living in a state where every time you see something and would like to make use of it, somebody will bitch about it. I don't want to play in your fucking crappy bar rooms, assholes. I think you should shut them down. I think the alcohol distribution companies in America should be outlawed. Large consumptions, and I think you should give the rights back to the people who still, is that right, distill moonshine? I think you should give their rights back. And why is that? Because when they're doing it for their family, their friends. They might be making somewhat of a profit off of it here and there, but they are not doing it in a manner that is unhealthy, period. Especially in large consumptions being dominated and promoted through the television and radio. Do you get it? And I could speak on behalf of shutting it down about how it is contaminating the entire human race and making it a very unsafe circumstances when provided in gathering atmospheres. I know, I used to play bar rooms. My eyes have seen many atmospheres. I don't want to be the one to frown on somebody else having a good time. But the truth of the matter is, I realize that if I want to have a good time and do stuff, I'm going to be chased out of here. You can't do that, okay? Oh my goodness, what is this? Goodbye, Cleveland, you fucking suck. And I hope someday a tsunami comes through and takes your freaking goddamn Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Make sure the insurance that you have on it, I hope the insurance adjuster, when you would call if that happens, would say that was an act of Tracilyn's God, who is mighty and powerful, and therefore you don't get no insurance money. Kind of like they did to me when a tree fell on my car. An act of God, was it? Ooh, God will take out a car. Will God take out a museum? Is that what that is, a museum? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, my ass. Rock and Roll Hall of freaking losers. Check this out. Goodbye. The one thing that I would have to say in closing as I get ready to leave here is I once used to live life a little bit different. I would have to say that sometimes I ruffled feathers because I used to have a muscle car and I used to hop around and listen to my music loud. And I used to drag race and light up my tires. I'd smoke my tires a lot. I'm very grateful I did. I feel that if the time ever came and things were made right in my life, then I would have a hell of a car. And I would go to the police station of my choosing, and I would light my fucking goddamn tires up and hope that the smoke from the tires would go through their fucking goddamn windows in the police station so they could smell truth. You don't fuck with the child of God. God has the person. Doesn't need to be told what to do every time they're outside and they're trying to achieve something that says fulfillment. If I'm gonna be such a pain in the ass and going to your fucking goddamn jurisdiction parks where if I wanted to lay out in the grass, okay, how much goose shit would I freaking lay on when I did it? And how long would I be able to lay there before a cop would come and say that it's inappropriate to the children? Hold on, this happened downtown at Dayton when somebody told me that there are some pedophiles, evidently. I brought this up in a video. I don't want to quote it right now. And I'm thinking, like, are you referring to me? You know, or are you referring to yourself? Because all I was doing is what I naturally have been doing for a long time, which is being myself, taking photographs of myself, doing videos of myself. You might not understand it, but I don't understand you either. Oh, hold on a minute. No, I do. It's called spiritless. You're not in tune with life. While you're out enforcing everything, you're stepping on the wrong toes a lot of times, I'm sure. I got myself a swimsuit, and I hate going to public facilities because I don't like to have to pay to lay out for 20 or 40 minutes. I used to go to the mountains and lay out naked. I have not laid out naked here since I lived in Ohio because I don't know where it's safe for me to go, that I am not going to piss off an officer and have them come and tell me that it's inappropriate. I'm a fucking human being. It's inappropriate for the children. They're human beings. We're humans. We're humans. We're humans. We were born fucking naked. All the police officers of the state of Ohio should have to tend a video of seeing a child be born. Does any one of them have a goddamn suit and tie on when they're born, yes or no? That's freaking wild, man. I'm a human being who wanted to enjoy their life, and I didn't realize how difficult it was until you end up 450 miles away from everything you grew up knowing for 40 years, and you're on a tight budget, and every time you see a chunk of land and you try to get out of everybody's way, they come over to you and say that you shouldn't do that here. I think I'm done for now. I'm going to get going. Goodbye. I'll be calling the Cleveland Police Department that governs this jurisdiction. I didn't want to run down to the one that was here. Probably he had nothing to do with it that day. Might have been him. But anyway, he's no longer here. Look at this car. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I guarantee if I was driving that car or if it was here and I was modeling on that car the way I wanted to, cops would show up. They would say that it's inappropriate for the children. You know what, you son of a fucking goddamn bitch who says it's inappropriate for the children? God has left me know if I could have just met one fucking person my whole life who was anywhere close to like me, a lot of my struggling questions that were tormenting me my whole life would have been answered in one conversation. It is very difficult living in a lost world. Okay, Governor, I want to make things right somehow. Where's my legal documentation at? I think people should know who I am and leave me the hell alone. That's what I think. If I'm out here and I'm doing a music video or something, I don't think I'm the one who should have to pack my stuff up and leave. I just proved it. There are natural sounds of other people who are driving by, unnatural if you will. There are other people who are making way more noise than what I am, or just as much noise. If you really got down to the details of what was in that truck and contaminating all those human beings, that lawsuit with knowledge could sue not only that ice cream truck, but it could go back to where all the traces of that ice cream came from, and the government and the law officer that drove by, that cop, and the police station for allowing that to happen. Intelligence could do that. Superior intelligence. Once you have a relationship with something like that, you realize that it could be a nightmare. I think of this stuff a lot, or something talks to me. Look around. Aww. I like this field right over here. And I like the castle, obviously. See this turnaround? There's like a little right here. There's a house right here. I really do think it's one of the more beautiful parks in the state of Ohio. I don't know what they call it, if it is a park or what have you, but properties that is here, it's very nice. And that is why I wanted to do my music video here. I was hoping I could do Cold Winter Storm, but after that cop, I understood that that's not going to happen.